If you can figure out exactly what you want, pat yourself on the back, because most people cannot do that. Most people in this audience right now have no fucking clue what it is they actually want. But at the end of the day, you got to figure out exactly what it looks like, because most people never will and most people never have, and that probably includes you. So sit down and really think about it, and don't include anyone else's opinion. Just what do you want, man? Figure out what it is. That's step one. And remember, it's not rocket science. So if you guys are waiting for some miraculous formula to run out of here screaming that you got it, folks, you've had it the whole time. You just don't realize it. Man, I'll tell you, this is what a badass event looks like. Okay, good-looking people. Everybody's here. Usually the next day in Vegas, nobody's here. There's like 3 people. They're all freaking, Poindexters with glasses. Everybody was out partying. They're waking up. This is what we call into it. I like that. Appreciate you guys showing up. Hey, I also appreciate Neil inviting me with such a lineup. You guys have been getting some speaker after speaker after speaker. How you guys like it so far? All right, good. Well, I am honored that I can come and ruin it a bit. Okay, so Neil asked me, hey, you want to come over there and do that? I said, Neil, I did it last time. Now I'm charging like $100,000 an hour. He said, can you do 20 minutes? I said, sure. But in reality, I would always come for Neil, because at the end of the day, man, he does what he says he's going to do. And that's one of the things that I always preach. In order to correct, like a lot of times people say, well, how do we move forward, being the name of the convention or the conference? How do I go forward? Unfortunately, sometimes in order to go forward, we have to go backwards. And some people won't do that. They're not going backwards. And that's why they're going to go their whole entire life and end up not where they want to be, because they're not willing to go backwards. I know people that used to, spend a lot of money. I'm one of them. Spend a lot of money trying to look cool. And if all that money were invested in real estate and other intelligent things to invest in, they would be a lot farther than they are today. But they're one paycheck away from going bust. But they look rich. Anybody know anybody like that? Dude, they're all over the place. I was one of them for the longest time. I'd still argue that, I'm just getting out of that. I spent a lot of time and money trying to impress everybody because I didn't impress myself. And that's the key. Okay, if you guys really want to go forward, let me tell you something. You have to go work on your self-image. Because there's a lot of people that don't understand. If you want to increase your net worth, you have to increase your self-worth. Wow. And that's the bottom line. Especially in a time like this, because you guys are all mainly real estate, mortgage, things like that, right? This is the perfect time to take a minute and go take an audit of who you are, who you hang out with, where you live, and what you think of yourself. Because you're never going to outperform your own self-image, ever. Doesn't matter what happens, you're never going to outperform that self-image. So if you think about it, someone says, Brad, how do I move forward? Like, cut the shit. I don't want to hear the nonsense. Just tell me exactly what you think. How do I move forward? Okay, I'm going to give you the 3 things. Well, I'll give you a few things, but the first thing you want to do is figure out what that looks like. I ask people all the time, what do you consider success? What do you think success looks like? And they don't really have an answer. They sit there and think while I ask the question. So that tells me that those people have never really took the time to think about what success actually looks like to them. See, people can say what success looks like on Instagram, right? But sometimes you chase that success and you end up unhappy anyway. There's a lot of rich people that commit suicide. Why is that? I thought money's the answer. Money's not the answer, okay? But it's definitely part of the equation, at least for me, okay? I would rather be broke and happy than rich and miserable. Period. Now, the good news is you can be rich and happy too. Okay? So a lot of people, they always want to give you 2 choices. You want to be rich and miserable or broke and happy. No, you can be rich and happy. Okay, but you got to figure out what it looks like. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what that shit looks like. Spend some time, map out your future, determine exactly and precisely what it looks like, more importantly, what it feels like. I don't know if you guys have ever studied visualization, but it actually works. There's studies that have been published that literally will prove visualization works. So if you want to get somewhere in life, you have to almost feel as if you're already there. So when you're, and by the way, manifestation and all the laws of attraction and all the things that are out there by sound, who believes in all that shit? Yeah, so again, I can attest to it 100%. But at the end of the day, man, you got to figure out what it looks like, and most people don't do that. If I went around the room and had the time and said, seriously, what do you think success looks like? You guys will have a decent idea of what it looks like. Everyone does. But do you know specifically what it looks like? Yes or no? That's the answer. Yes or no. Don't bullshit yourself anymore. If you were your best friend, dude, you should kick your own ass. We treat ourselves worse than anybody else in our entire lives. But we just cover it up and we rationalize. A lot of times, back in a few years ago, you guys didn't even have to sell things, man. People were just buying them left and right. You guys were fighting over pricing. One time I went to buy this house. They said $2 million. I said, okay, I'll take it. And they said, wait a minute now. We just got offered 2.2. And I'm like, well, they were asking 2. I know, but now it's 2.2. I said, okay, 2.2. They said, wait a minute now. I said, what are you talking about? It was up to like 2.8. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking minds? They asked for 2. That should be against the fucking law. Okay, you ask for fucking 2 and I say yes, get the fuck out of my house. But anyway, you didn't have to sell anything, let's just say. And everybody got all fucking successful and they thought, I don't need to do anything because, man, this is easy. Guys, now's what it really looks like. So now's when you better stop and figure out exactly what you're doing, okay? And let me tell you where to focus. There's 3 things that will give you any kind of success you're looking for. Number 1 is your mindset. Number 2 is your skill set. Number 3 is your habits. Dude, show me somebody's habits, I'll show you their future. Show me somebody's skill set, show me somebody's mindset, and I can predict with a high degree of accuracy whether they're going to be successful or not. Now, again, that's not rocket science, is it, folks? The reason I started my podcast, anybody here listen to Dropping Bombs? Awesome. The reason I started that podcast is because my mission in life is to get the knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it, because I think people fail because they don't have the right information. My dad was a hard-working, blue-collar worker his whole life, busted his ass. Nice guy, did everything right. Come on, man. That's all you got to do, right? Wrong. He didn't have the right information, so he never really made it financially. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that's probably why I actually care, because I used to see him like not be as happy as he could be. He made a lot of money, or he didn't make a lot of money, but he always figured shit out. Like one time for Christmas, we didn't have any money for presents, so he just cut a hole in my pocket so I'd have something to play with. He made it work, whatever he did. But at the end of the day, hey, at the end of the day, he didn't get rich. He didn't get financially successful because I thought, he didn't have the right information. So now I feel passionate to get that information from people. Then I thought to myself, well, Brad, after 54 years dealing with all the top names and celebrities and experts and subject matter experts, you must know something. And I'm like, yeah, here's what I know. Most people do not think enough of themselves to make anything happen. So I say, well, let's go fix that. You have to increase your self-worth to increase your net worth, and that's true. You got to actually go back and almost forgive yourself. Start acting as if. And here's the craziest part. Guys, it's just a choice, man. It really is just a choice. And one day when you look back and you did it, you're going to go, man, it was just a choice. Yeah, but I was so afraid. You were so afraid because you worry about what everybody else thinks instead of worrying about what you think. Well, why would I worry about what I think? Who am I? See, low self-esteem, low self-worth. Stop that shit. I've had people call me conceited my whole life. Fuck you. Yeah, it's like, dude, do you want me to feel like shit? You want me to walk around, God damn it, I'm not as good looking as that girl said I was. No, I start listening to people. I start going, hey, wait a minute. Then I start, having a better self-opinion to myself. I started walking a little taller, and people didn't like that. Why? I didn't realize it then, but because they didn't really like themselves either. So they didn't like the fact that I liked me. See what I'm saying? So again, you got to get rid of everybody else for a moment and just focus on yourself. Hey, you want to spend an hour a week with me helping you become a business badass? Well, check out my group in the link below. Take this time to focus on yourself. Go get better. 3 areas. Mindset. Get your mind right, folks. If your mind isn't right, you're not going anywhere. When I say get your mindset right, I mean think abundantly, okay? Anytime somebody says, hey, do you want to do this? And you go, oh my God, that's a lot of money, I can't afford it. All you're saying is that you don't think there's any more money out there. See, me, I don't think like that. If I have the money, then the question is do I want to do this or not? Do I think there's value or not? Period. I don't think, well, it's all my money. So what? There's more money, right? I learned it from my wife. My wife's freaking, she has no fear of spending money. One of these days, I'm going to have her come up here and tell you how she does that. I put on social media one time, I have a magic floor because every time I throw my shit on the floor, somehow it gets put back where it goes. It's the most amazing shit ever. And everyone's like, that's not nice. I said, don't worry. My wife has a magic purse. We're happy. But the three areas, guys, I'm telling you, the mindset's 100% number one. You guys can sit here and listen to everybody you want. If you leave here with the wrong mindset, nothing's going to change. You got to have an abundant mindset. You have to be positive and optimistic. You have to be, literally hopeful. Okay, the way I do it, very simple. Okay, I wake up every morning, I immediately smile because I realize that waking up is worth more than any amount of money I'm trying to earn. If I said I'll give you $100 million cash today, you'd all be excited. You'd run out of here like a fucking chicken with your head cut off. You'd be pumped up. You'd be shitting your pants. People would be calling. You'd be hooting and hollering. Nobody could ruin your day for $100 million. And then if I said, but you can't wake up tomorrow, none of you would take it, which means waking up is worth more than $100 million. So how come you don't wake up like that? I wake up like that. I wake up to where every day is going to be a good day, no matter what. There's no such thing in my book as a bad day if you woke up. The question is how good will it get, right? I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. I'm positive. The mindset is abundant. There's no shortage of money. There's no shortage of customers. You guys want more customers? Shake more hands. You guys understand something, don't you? All the money in your life is going to come from a relationship. Period. Every dollar you've ever received so far has come from a relationship of some kind. So if you want more money, wouldn't it make more sense to get more relationships? Okay? The more hands you shake, the more money you make. Remember that. It's not rocket science. Quit letting everybody tell you that it is. It's not. It's not that difficult to get rich. If I can do it, pretty much anyone can do it, guys. I dropped out of school, ran around cussing, conceited, all the shit that you shouldn't have been, I was. I did a post the other day, said, people say you can't smoke weed, and you can't get drunk, you can't fuck up, you only get one chance. That's total bullshit. About 1 million chances. Okay? But at the end of the day, man, it's because, I look back and learn some things. It's easy to look back and learn things. What's scary is looking forward because you don't know. So how do you fix that? It's pretty simple, folks. You want the formula? I'm going to give you the formula right now. Now, normally, I charge $100,000 for this formula, and I spend an hour telling you. But because Neil spent all his money on Ed Milet and Jesse Itzler, I got to do it quick. So here it goes. Here it goes. This is it. I'm telling you right now. Number one, figure out what it is. Exactly what it is that you want. If you can figure out exactly what you want, pat yourself on the back because most people cannot do that. Most people in this audience right now have no fucking clue what it is they actually want. And if you haven't spent a considerable amount of time figuring it out, folks, that's why, because you haven't sat down alone and really thought about it. Then bring in a spouse. Why? What does it matter what your spouse thinks until you think something? Oh, I can't believe he said that. What a dick. I wonder how his wife stays with him. Because I tell people all the time, and my wife can hear me right now, I'm the most important person in my life, period. And I hope she's the most important person in her life. The other day, someone said, if your wife had to die or your children had to die, who'd be dead? I said, give me a kiss, honey. My wife. Oh, I can't believe you said that. Why? She better say the same thing if it were reversed, right? Tell the truth. But at the end of the day, you got to figure out exactly what it looks like because most people never will and most people never have, and that probably includes you. So sit down and really think about it and don't include anyone else's opinion. Just what do you want, man? Figure out what it is. That's step one. And remember, it's not rocket science. So if you guys are waiting for some miraculous formula to run out of here screaming that you got it, folks, you've had it the whole time. You just don't realize it. Because as I look back, this isn't shit I didn't know. I just didn't realize. There's a difference. So you know what it is now. Okay, number two. And by the way, that's the hard part. Write down, figure out what I want. Hard. Most people think that's the easy part. That's the hard part. Secondly, figure out exactly how to get it. Now, normally when I say that, people stop taking notes and they look up like, huh? Well, no shit. That's the problem. How do you get it? Folks, you figure out what you want, then you figure out how to get it. Then how to get it, write easy next to that. That's the easy part. How to get it? I'll tell you how to get it. Ready? You find someone who's already got it. Huh? Rocket science shit, isn't it? You find someone who's already done it. You find someone who's already been there. That's it. That's what you do. You say, hey, man, I want to do this. Who else has done that? That person, that person, that person, that person. Okay, good. Let me go do what they did. That's the third step. Do the work. So really, you just figure out what it is that you want. Then you figure out who's already done it, who's already been there, who knows the path. And then you do the work. There's a fourth one there. It's called make adjustments. People don't make enough adjustments. People think you're supposed to just stick to it and never say it or never change, never falter, laser focus. That's not true, folks. When I started my company, the main company that made me rich, I would say, and again, it ain't rich. I mean, you got all these people here on stage. They're rich. I'm like a pissant. But I'm doing pretty well. And what the main company that got me to do well, I started out to be a trainer. I helped somebody in the back of a dealership come out and make a bunch of money. He was minimum wage. His family came in wearing old clothes. His kids were kind of sad all the time, or they seemed sad. I don't know if they were sad, but they seemed it. And then I showed him how to make a bunch of money, and all of a sudden he changed, man. He became more nice. He became more helpful. His wife came in pumped up and excited. His kids started smiling and laughing. And I thought, I want to do that for a living. I'm going to show people how to sell, how to close, how to persuade. Right? So I quit my job and I went out and started a training company. And I was going to go compete with all these guys that you've heard of. All these sales experts in the world. Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, all of them. I was going to just beat them all. Okay? Then I went out there to do that. And I started hearing, we love them so much. I'm like, I'm better. They're like, too bad. So I said, well, wait a minute. What you're telling me is if I had them, you'd buy this. They said, yes. So again, I made an adjustment. I said, well, if they don't want me, they want them, why don't I just go get them? See what I'm saying? So instead of trying to compete, I started to collaborate. So I went and talked to Grant, and I went and closed his ass. People say, who's better, you or Grant? Bitch, he sends me a check every month. So does, the rest of them that are on the platform. But I don't say that to brag or to look cool. It's because what I accidentally invented for myself solved their problem as well. And then that solved dealers' problems and companies' problems and individuals' problems. You see, I made an adjustment. I wasn't afraid to change. Because if you think about it, you must change. If you don't change, everything's going to stay the same. Does that make sense? So I wake up with unbelievable gratitude. That makes the day positive. Then I focus on my health, okay? All I do is get my blood pumping. All I do is get my heart rate up. Then I focus on relationships because that's the most important thing. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. The reason you don't have everything you want right now is because you don't know the right people or you don't have the right information, period. So every time you're sitting there thinking, I don't have what it is I want, you don't have the right information or you don't have the right relationship. That's it. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. It's because you didn't graduate. It's because you're not as good looking as the rest of them. It's because you're short. It's because you're skinny. It's because you're ugly. No, it isn't. It's because you don't know the right person and you don't have the right information, period. So you want to fix that? What do? Shake hands, okay? I don't know if you guys know it. Bradley fucking Cooper's sitting right here. Shake his fucking hand. Okay? Get in the right rooms. Get in the rooms of other successful people like you're doing right now. You're on the road. Okay? But don't make it harder than it is. If I can do it, anyone can do it. It's not that difficult. All it is figure out the right mindset. Get the right skill sets. And then form the right habits, and you can't be stopped. What are the right skill sets? Marketing, sales, communication. Marketing, sales, communication, that's really all you need. Trust me when I tell you. Okay? I wish I could sit here all day. I hope that helps you guys. Make sure when you leave here, folks, that you walk out and you focus on one thing and one thing only. Okay? How do I move forward? You focus on your mindset, you focus on your skill set, you focus on your habits. How do I get anything I want? You figure out what it is, you find people who already do it or have done it, you join them, and then do the work.
It's like, oh, it's 2022. It's called learning. Like in 2022, if you're stupid still, you don't get results, you know that's a choice. Ignorance a choice. Ignorance is a choice in 2022. Dude, bomb drop. But look at